Hey everyone, so this is going to be the ribbon angel tutorial. I prepared the best that I can. It has the potential to be such a versatile project. It's really hard to give you a set list of materials that you'll need for it. But I will go through the tutorial telling you what I use, and then I will also in the description box. I'll put a list, at each step of the different types of materials that you can swap out from what I used. It's a really great project to use whatever you want and what you already have. So I guess I'll get started. I'll give you the general list of materials that you'll need, but like I said, a lot of these things are really versatile and you can interchange them. You'll need scissors and wire cutters, a hot glue gun. You'll need a 1-inch wooden ball. You may or may not need gel super glue. It depends on the wooden ball that you use, and I'll get into that when I get to that step in the tutorial. But if you do, depending on the type of ball that you're using, if you do need to use the super glue, you definitely have to use gel. You can't use regular liquid. You'll need 15 to 18 pieces of trims or lace or ribbons. You'll need 15 pieces of assorted trims, and each trim will need to be approximately 18 inches long. It doesn't matter if it's 17 inches or 16 and a half. It just needs to be approximately 18 inches long. So try and gather your trims that are approximately that length. You will need doll hair. There are several things that you can interchange out for the doll hair, which I will get into when I'm at that step. You will need red pastel chalk. You don't want oil pastel, you want red pastel chalks. You need a cheapy ballpoint pen. Let's see, where did I put mine? Oh, geez, Chelsea. Not the one I want, but it's okay. You'll need just a cheapy one. You don't want one of those pens that, lets out an abundance of ink, because it'll just bleed all over the wooden ball. You want just a cheapy one that lets out a little bit of ink. There's something like that in black ink. You want to have a Q-tip. You will need an embellishment for whatever the angel is going to hold. You will need scrap wire, wired ribbon, a candle, and you'll also need a couple more ribbons or trims for the arms and also for the hanger, and I'll get into the lengths of those once I get to that step. But I will give a more complete description of what you need and what can be interchanged in the description box. So I will get started. So the first thing you need to do for your angel is to gather whatever trims you're going to use, whether it be yarn or lace, ribbons, whatever you want. There will be more, like I said, a complete description, or the best description of what I can. Oh, I just blew out my candle. I will list as many things as I can think of in the description box. So once you've gathered all the trims, you need to light a candle and go through your trims and find the ones that are going to have a tendency to fray, like seam binding. And it's easier to do this step at the beginning, singeing the edges, than it is when you have the angel already assembled. So just go do that real quick. And let's see, do I have any more? This says And I know the camera's going to be moving. I'm sorry. I'm on my bed and I'm constantly having to lean up against it. It's the only place most of the time where I've got good lighting. Okay, so once you've got your trims sealed and everything, then you want to start to line up your trims. So just grab them all, and I don't know why I made that one so long. You basically, this big cutting mat is really helpful, because if you line them up, you know, from 29 and it's supposed to go to 11 approximately, or from, you know, 1 to 18 or 0 to 18, then it's really easy to find the center point. So that's what I'm doing. I'm laying down laces. I've got seam binding. I've got maxi piping. I've got beaded trim. There's a specialty yarn at half of its eyelash. I've got pearl trim, and not all of these pieces are exactly 18 inches long, but I find the center of each of them, you know, you want the center of each trim to be, you know, at the center of the 18 inches. So if it's a ½ an inch short on each side, that's okay. You just want to do your best to get the center right. Here's some baby tube cord, more lace. And because you need 16 to 18 pieces, it depends on how like wide or thick your trims are. That'll depend on how many pieces you need. So if you're using a lot of ruffle lace, you're obviously not going to need 18 pieces of, you know, assorted ruffle laces, you know. But if you're using a lot of like 1/4 inch satin ribbons, then you may need 18 pieces. You may need more than that. Okay, so once you've got them all laid out, I think I do, you want to grab your scrap wire. This is just a piece of wire from my gem trees. You know, when I'm done twisting them together, I just cut off the excess wire. And you want to cut off about 2 to 3 inches. Usually I'm pretty fine with 2 inches. I might do a little bit more this time because I've got some thicker trims. So you've got your little piece of wire, and I'm gonna, this is the 20-inch line right here. I'm just gonna find it, go up, gather the trims like that, and you want to try and see if you've got things about even, and then you want to take your little piece of wire, wrap it around the center, and then twist it as tight as you can. Hopefully this won't have to be a 2-parter tutorial. I guess we'll see. And then whatever tail you have on the wire, just kind of twist it around in a circle and shove it down. Okay, so once you have it twisted together, just take your hand and go like this. And flip it around and do it again. Find which side that you like best, because there's going to be 2 sides. I like this side best because it showcases more of the trims. Oh, I forgot to mention something. You will also need a little satin bow. Well, you may or may not need that. It depends on you. Okay, next step is the wooden balls. You will need a 1-inch wooden ball. Now there are all kinds of wooden balls out there. And like I said, depending on the wooden ball that you use will determine whether you'll need to use super glue as well. So here's one type of wooden ball. Obviously it's not 1 inch, but it's just what I'm showing you. It has no hole on top. It has like a cut off bottom and a hole on the bottom. This is perfectly fine. You can use this wooden ball. You will not need to use super glue if you're using this type of wooden ball. Then you've got this type of ball. It has no hole on top and it's got a big gaping hole on the bottom. Generally these are used to make pin dolls. You most likely will not need to use super glue for this type of ball either. Next you've got the crab apple, which I apologize for it being so small. I couldn't find a bigger one. Basically, if you looked at an apple and you pulled out the stem, this is what the shape would be. It's got a rounded bottom and it's got a rounded top, but then it has a dip. See if it'll focus. Oh, sorry, it's very tiny. Not sure if it's gonna focus for you. Yeah. Not sure if you're gonna be able to see it, but just think of an apple shape. They generally have a hole on top, but the main thing is it has this dip. You will not need super glue for this type of ball either, and it's generally called a crab apple. Next you've got this type of ball. They're also called beads. This is where the hole is going through the entire thing, and this would be the ideal ball to have because you would not need the super glue because the hot glue will grab into this hole, and then the top hole is also great for you to shove the ribbon down into this top hole so that you don't have to glue it up the back of the head. So this would be ideal, the ideal type of ball to have. One thing is you do not want a varnished ball, which this is varnished. You will not be able to draw the face on, you will not be able to put the blush on. So, but if you have any unvarnished balls that have the hole going through all the way, that would be preferred. The last ball is this, and this is where there's no holes in the ball. This is what I will be using because it's what I have. And for this ball, you will need super glue. Okay, so next you want to draw your face on the ball, and because it's very hard to do that, even not in an awkward position in front of the camera, I'm going to draw it on this piece of paper so it's nice and big and you can see it, and I won't screw it up horribly. So you want to make like 2 upside down C's. Obviously that looks really bad, but that's okay. And then you want to do a bigger one for the mouth. Okay. And then you want to draw on little eyelashes. That is your face. Okay. It looks like hairy boobies when we draw it on paper. So once you have that done, it'll end up looking like that. Now you want to get your chalk and your Q-tip. And this is the technique I have come up with it to make sure that my angel has not used too much rouge. As I take one end of the Q-tip and I scrape it on the chalk. And then on each cheek, I pounce it a couple times. And then I take the other side of the Q-tip and I rub it so that you can get that red to disperse and the color isn't so harsh. Okay, next step. Attaching the head to the angel's body. Now, if you're like me and you're using a 1-inch wooden ball that does not have any holes in it, you need to use super glue. And so, this is, let's see if I can find a place where I won't lose my head. This is the best way I've found to do it. And it's reassuring that I know that the angel's head isn't gonna fall off. So you want to take your trim bundle and you want to put a good dollop of super glue on top. Now, because super glue has a tendency to take a little while to dry, and I don't want to be sitting here for 10 to 15 minutes holding her head on, I then take my hot glue and I put a circle of hot glue around the super glue. You want to encircle the super glue with hot glue. Then you want to take your angel's head and shove it on. Just hold it there for a couple seconds. Okay, so the hot glue will give a quick hold to it. Now, because you know you're waiting for that super glue to dry, I'd suggest setting the angel down for about a half an hour. And if you've got an assembly line going, starting on the next angel, because a decapitation is not only traumatizing for you, it's traumatizing for the angel. So just go ahead and set that angel down. Very sorry about that. I knew I was going to tilt the camera. What video do I not tilt the camera on? Okay. Now I've got an angel that has been sitting. Okay, once you've got that done, the next thing that you want to do is the hair. Now, what I'm using is this type of curly hair. I really suggest buying the small curls, or using the small curls. They make it in larger curls, and it's much harder to apply. So it usually ends up looking like a hot mess. So just grab a whole bunch of whatever hair you're going to use. This is also a hair that I like to use. Usually with this hair, I have no clue where it's from or what it's actually called. I had it. Usually I get things from other people. So, you know, if I'm buying things or receive things, I don't often buy a lot of things in stores. So I'm not sure what this hair is called. But usually with this hair, how it's in a nice rope, I usually cut it to the length I want. You know, so it's two strands at one length. Cut it, and then I do it a whole bunch of times and then glue the sections on one at a time. And that seems to work really well. I really like this hair. It's probably the easiest to work with, but mainly I've got this doll hair here. And you just want to cut off a whole bunch. And I've done a lot of angels. This is the easiest way that I've found how to do it. If you've got another way that's easier for you, then go for it. So you want to gather your doll hair like so in your hand. And you want to take your hot glue gun in the same hand. Oh, you know what, guys? I'm skipping a step. I'm really good at that. Alright, put your doll hair down. You need to put on your string first. So for those of you that are not using a wooden ball, that are not using a ball with a hole on top, you're going to need to glue your string up across the back of the head. So if you've got sensitive fingers, then I'd suggest getting one of those silicone finger covers. I'm pretty just finding the center of the ball. I'm pretty tough though, so just draw a line up the back of the head. Take your string and smoosh it on there. And you want to go all the way up to like the very top. Knock it off, Chewy. And then I usually go back over it with hot glue here. Now this looks pretty messy and disgusting, but believe me, the hair will cover it up. Alright, so once you've got your string on, now it's time for the hair. So gather your bundle of hair up. And you want to just start smothering the glue on to the side of the doll head. And then you want to take your hand with the doll hair and just smush it on. And having a lot of doll hair in your hand will prevent the glue from getting onto your hand. So basically you've got this, and you just want to work your way around the doll's head. Going over that string, working sections at a time because, you know, hot glue cools fast. And just roll the hair over. And this part, you know, it may take you a little bit of time. It takes time to get used to the procedure. It takes time to, you know, adjust things and get them right. So this is a part of your angel that you're just going to have to fiddle with and try not to get frustrated with, and understand that it's not going to, you know, be perfect. There's no easy way to to put on this hair. You just have to put it on. Press too hard, got glue on my hand. Put it on the best you can. Squeeze glue onto the front. Pull hair over for her bangs. And you want to look at your doll. You want to find the bald spots. And just continue to move any loose hair bundles around, and try not to press too hard, otherwise you're going to get hot glue stuck to your finger and then the hair is going to come with it. Like I said, if you're sensitive to hot glue, I'd suggest wearing some kind of protection. I'm not sure what all is out there because I haven't looked. Okay, and then if you've got excess going on, then you want to give your angel a haircut here. And I'd suggest saving the trimmings, because like I said, you know, when you bundle the doll hair in your hand to initially put it on, you know, you can have all these little loose scrap pieces and then they won't go to waste. Just try and you know, give your doll or your angel a decent haircut here. See, and then I've got this side of the hair is higher than this side, so then I'm gonna pile up my scraps and lather on some glue, and then toss my scraps on there. Okay, so there's your angel. So, but my best advice, or there's your angel's hair. My best advice is to try and not make it perfect. It just ain't gonna happen. So I'm gonna stop the video right now because my camera only records for about 29 minutes, and then I'll do part 2 and just mash it together. So I will be back shortly, or in your case, half a millisecond. Bye. Okay, so I'm back. It's been a couple days since I recorded the first part, but it doesn't matter because I'm putting them together. So I went ahead and finished up the hair on the gold angel and put the hanger on there, just because it's a, you know, takes a little bit longer time, and I guess we'll get going again. Just gonna glue down a curl on the purple angel. Sometimes with these angels, when you think you've gotten the hair down good enough, when they've been handled a lot or moved around, sometimes a curl pops up that may have been tucked under other curls that wasn't glued down. So occasionally you'll want to go back and do a touch up of glue. I don't remember if I mentioned it in the first part, but if you're really sensitive with hot glue, you know, with me, I can shove my hand into it, no problem. I can shove my fingers into it, no problem. But if you're really sensitive, you can use like Aleene's tacky glue or something, original tacky glue. It just takes longer and it's really messy. Hot glue I just found to be the fastest solution, because I used to use the tacky glue, but then I realized hot glue, you know, once I got the smushing on large clumps of hair technique going, that seemed to work faster. But that's an option for you. So the next part would be the arms. For the arms of the angel, you will need, I'm gonna move the camera so I don't bump it so much. We'll start with the purple angel. You're gonna need 6 inches of some kind of ribbon or trim, and usually I prefer like a ½ inch wide. One thing I've noticed with the angel, because their bodies have so much going on, and you're gonna be using a similar color, you know, so that you know, it goes with the angel. One thing I noticed is that if there was 2 layers on the angel's arms, like if I folded this purple seam binding in half, you know, and made it 1/4 inch, and then I glued the 1/4 inch wide seam binding on top of this lavender seam binding. You know, if you gave it a double layer, you know, a double layered look, I've noticed that it helps to set the arms apart from the rest of the angel's body, so it doesn't blend so much, so that you can tell where the arms are. Chickens are fighting outside. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and cut each section to 6 inches. It'd really help if this seam binding wasn't so kinky, but whatever. And then this part's going to be a little bit harder to show you on camera, but I will try my best. Okay. Basically, I'm going to hold it like this. I'm just going to do a line of glue. Oh, my glue gun just fell. My finger is going into the hot glue, so, I mean, you just may need to use some kind of protection if you're sensitive. The only time hot glue really hurts me, you know, when it comes to the low temp guns, is if I get it on top of my fingernail. That's a very, very, very sensitive place to have glue. Okay, so got it. Then strip like that. I'm just gonna keep on keeping on. Try and get it as sensitive. God, I'm such a loud breather. I'm sorry. I hate it when I'm like editing my videos and all I can hear is myself breathing so loud. And my head is like right next to the camera. Okay. Kind of not so even right there. Oh well, so it doesn't look perfect a lot of the time. If I'm using like 2 different actual ribbons instead of like trying to fold a seam, you know, piece of seam binding in half, it looks a lot better. But you know, I'm using what I have. So then you want to take your 1/2 inch. And then, you know, and then there's some ribbons that, you know, are maybe darker or lighter than pretty much the rest of your angel's body. So then it wasn't necessary for me to, that be any more off center, for me to, double layer it because it looked, you know, it looked apart. It went with the angel, but you could clearly see it from the rest of the body. Okay, guess I didn't glue that entire part right there. Oh my goodness. Well, this is a big mess on camera. It'll look okay. Yeah, it's just that the angle I'm sitting is really hard to do. It'll look okay, I think. Just try and glue down this part that I apparently didn't glue down. Okay, so then you'll end up with something like this. And like I said, you don't have to do the double layering thing, but if you're using like colors, you know, if you're using the same type of stuff, the same type of material you used on the angel's body, it kind of becomes necessary so that the arms stand out. Because if you're just doing one, you know, layer, it's kind of difficult for the arms to stand out unless you're using something that you didn't use on the angel's body. Okay, and it'll look much better when you're not leaning forward in a very awkward angle with your arms stretched around the tripod. Alright, so once you have your perfectly straight arms, you want to fold it in half, cut off these threads. You don't really need to sear the ends because you'll be gluing them basically. You just want to fold it in half so that you get that crease, so that you know where the center of your seam binding is. And then you want to take your glue, you want to put a big dollop. Probably should have had my angel turned over before. And then you want to put it right beneath her head. The glue should be right in the middle of the body. I didn't get it in the middle because I'm just going to mess everything up in this video for your enjoyment. But that's what it's going to look like, okay? You just want to glue the center of your arms to the back of the angel, right beneath the head. Do not put it lower. You want it right under the head. Then you want to flip your angel for frontward again, and pull her arms over. So, okay. Apparently my angel will be looking to the right. Well, I don't know what she's looking at, but okay. Yeah, I'm a mess in this video. Put a dollop of glue on the end of one arm and put the other arm on top and squish. Glue is in contact with my fingers. Okay. But, you know, if you need protection, use it. Just gonna cut off the excess glue that spilled out. Not that it makes any difference. Alright, Mrs. Angel, how can I make you look a little bit more straightforward here? You know, sometimes this happens and you just have to play with it a little bit, and I think she's just going to be an angel that looks slightly to the right. It's okay. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is the wings. Flip your angel on its face again. And pick whatever wired ribbon you want. For the wings, you can also do tulle. And I'll post the video that I learned the basics of this angel from, because the instructor uses tulle. I wanted to use wired ribbon because I have a hard time coming across projects that call for wired ribbon, you know, and I felt it was a better opportunity to use my wired ribbon. So I'm not going to give you any measurements as to what length you need to cut the ribbon. But basically with the wired ribbon, you're going to use any width. This is 1.5 inch. I believe this one is 2.5 inch. Whatever width you want is fine. And this is how I usually determine how long I need to cut my piece of ribbon. I usually fold the end until I get the length that I want for one wing. So this is one wing, right? Then I'm gonna just fold it over again, fold it over again, and then cut it. And that's the length I'm gonna need. I don't really have any measurements. I have angels with shorter wings. Sometimes I just had a small scrap, so they've got really short wings. Some have really long wings because I got a little carried away. There really isn't no measurement in my opinion. So then once you've got your piece of ribbon cut, you want to do a line of glue. This is another part where your fingers are going to come in contact with the glue, so if you need protection, get it. And then usually before it's cooled down, I usually squish the ribbon like that, because sometimes it can be difficult to squish ribbon when you've got hard glue there, you know. Give it a couple seconds to cool. Okay, next you need to grab your piece of scrap wire. Got my piece of scrap wire. I usually cut off about 2 inches of it. Don't need a whole lot. Then you want to take your wings, or your piece of wired ribbon that you just glued both ends together, and the part that's been glued, that's going to be your center. So I make sure that the glued part is basically in the center, and then I just squish them together, squish both the front and back together. So you've got essentially a bow, and then you take your wire, and I like to have the tails of my wire on the side that has the hardened hot glue on it. And you basically just want to twist that bow. Okay, so you'll have something like that. I don't bother with the tails. I just kind of squish them down. Be careful, you're probably going to poke yourself. Alright, so my wings are a little bit uneven from when I did the wire. So then I just pull on one side to try and get that, to get both sides basically symmetrical. And then I fan out my wings like so. So then on the side that has your tails, your wire tails, you want to go ahead and put a big dollop of glue on it. You want to glue it on top of the arms here that you just glued down, right underneath the head. And there's your wings. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for the gold angel now. So I'm just going to find out how long I want the wing to be by folding it over. That's a good wing length for me. Then I'm just going to fold it once, or a second time, then fold it a third time, then cut it. So then I've got that length of ribbon. Do a line of glue on one end, lay the other end on top of it, and scrunch while it's still warm. And you want to find put your seam in the center, squish both sides together, then scrunch them together to make a bow. Right, got a piece of wire here. You want to sometimes these ribbons that have these really wide edges can be a little bit difficult to work with, but It's okay. And it gets done. You know, sometimes it just takes a little bit longer. And cutting your wire short does complicate things, but like I said, I don't even like to waste scrap wire, so. Pieces, edge that's come loose here. Okay, so once you've got your bow as even as you can get it, dollop of glue on the side. Oh, geez Louise. Alright. So I'm sure y'all are shouting at me, Jess, you forgot to do the arms. I did. I just wiped the big dollop of glue I put on there. Because you do need to do the arms first. I didn't want that hard dollop of glue on there. Okay. I'm really good at making boo-boos. It's part of my specialty. Alright, so I chose this mustard piece, and it's pretty vibrant. And I had, I don't know where the freak it is now. There. Okay, sorry. So this mustard is pretty bright. I thought it would be a good color to stand out from the angel though, but I'm going to tone it down so I'm going to double layer it. I'm going to cut it. Oh man, I hate these scissors. Couldn't find my cheap Dollar Tree ones though. Don't know where they went. Should be a little bit easier. Unless I stick my finger in the glue. Come on, Chelsea. It should be a little bit easier to... work with here. Okay, so pretending that we didn't just do the wings. Okay, fold it in half so that you can find your center point at the 6 inches. Put your dollop of glue. Glue it onto the back of your angel right beneath the head. Flip her over. Pull one on board. Another glue stick in your gun. Pull the other arm forward. Glue it there. Okay, this angel's apparently looking to the left. I'm just full of surprises this video. Alright. We want to flip her back over, glue on the wings that you just made, because I'm a dodo bird. that. Alright, the angels have their wings. Now, you may or may not need a satin bow. It depends if you've got glue oozing out from the neck and you want to hide that. I pulled out too, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it. A bit of glue right beneath the head where her neck is. These bows came from Bonnie. And you can make a satin bow out of 1/8" satin ribbon. Or you could make it out of baker's twine. You could make it out of whatever. Then material you have. Okay, so the last part is adding the embellishment. Now for the lavender angel, I put some pom-pom trim around this art tile I made. This camera makes me crazy at times. Maybe if I went like that. Anyways, it's jalopy. It's an art tile, and I just put a pom-pom around it to give it more of a polished look there. Screw that up. So I wanted it to kind of look like she was holding a picture. I kind of wish she was facing straight forward. But oh well. Alright, and for the gold angel, I'm using this flat back marble that I had a long time ago pasted a picture of a cherub on there, and then there was a little piece of scrap lace behind that. Oh, just got glue on my fingernail. That hurt. Okay. So that would be the angels. Hope the tutorial wasn't too confusing for you. I know I get confused when I speak. So, I hope it wasn't too shaky. But there's the two angels. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will talk to you guys later. Bye. Alright, see, another thing that